I am so against any more raising in taxes. And a lot of times, your administrations, your council, your state legislature, that seems to be their only answer, their only solution to our problems. Our problems are bigger than that. There needs to be more creative communication. There needs to be more accountability for the spending of our money by the government. A bloated government, you can see it happening in Washington, D.C. today. There's a 13% confidence in our Congress, our United States Congress today. We can't have that here locally. We're too much together. We are on an island, absolutely on an island, and we need to govern each other with cooperation, creativity, and rebuild our communications with one another and between you and your government.
Thank you very much. Mr. Guzman.
Raise taxes, I would be against raising taxes, but how is the government going to gain these additional revenues if we don't raise the taxes? I think, number one, we've got to go ahead and start looking at new sources of revenue. Going through the permitting process itself, bringing in new businesses here on Maui.
I just said that.
To increase our tax revenue. Looking back at our tax appeals, that we have millions of dollars in abeyance there. We need to look at being more efficient in the government in going through these tax appeals and getting these outstanding monies that are owed to the county on the books, or at least collected. That would be one way in terms of not raising our taxes. Cutting our spending, we need to look again at the costs of government commission and look at some of those recommendations and cutting some of the departments, not our public need departments.
I just said that too.
Commissions that are just not necessary. Thank you.
Mr. Victorino.
Thank you. And something that's really, as simple as it may sound, it is more entailing. I believe in efficiency, and we have worked very diligently by providing equipment to various operations so they can be more efficient. Right now we have self-paving. We have our own little paving division that has saved us millions of dollars and has also helped us pave a lot more roads today than we were doing 3 years ago. And if you've been walking around, you can see a lot more roads being paved. But there's still a lot more to be done. Our water system, Waikimoi Flumes, next year the money's been set there, it will be done. And once that is done, then there's other projects that need to continue. So things need to continue to happen. However, we need to continue to be efficient and not have overspending and not have tax burdens. But right now, we have 6,700 plus people that paid a minimum tax of $250 a year for real property. Well, yet the cost for core essential service is well over $3,100 per person. Big disparity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Victorino. This will be our last round of questions. Ms. Sakamoto, you're going to direct this question to Mr. Blackburn. Yes.
Land Use Commission approving the reclassification of 545 acres of agricultural land to urban zoning in support of Waiale project to support the development of 2,250 residential units. Do you support this project?
It goes back to the whole process. The community, I sat in on the Waikapu Community Association meeting, and they discussed this very issue. They wanted a green belt. That green belt pretty much got taken away during the general plan process. We're worried about burials. We're worried about sand dunes. The Kahului Aquifer has a 1 million gallon capacity. So where's the water going to come from? Now, at the same time, A&B, again, as a developer, should have a right to develop. But the process seems to cut out some very important players, especially the people living right next door. So again, protect our land, give the developers a straight shot at development without lawyers and everybody else interfering, make the process so the community associations don't get caught at the last minute going, oh, what happened to our PAC plan that was presented and we all agreed to, and all of a sudden the council has changed it.
Thank you very much. Mr. McLaughlin.
I don't support the plan at all because I think the thing is way too complicated. I think it's another example of government really overcomplicating things. Like for example, I was watching the session the other night on Akaku, and I watched them debate about whether or not to zone land rural or agricultural. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, don't those mean the same thing? Like if you actually Google the definition of rural, if you actually Google it, it actually says land that is pertaining to agriculture. So we're talking about zoning some land rural, some land agriculture. In a sense, they mean the same thing. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't support it at all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Capero.
I'm kind of on the fence with it because in terms of a business should be allowed to do what they want, but like Mr. Blackburn said, it's very, very complicated. And when the water gets entered into the equation, it becomes extremely complicated. So I don't know if we're really in a position at this point to move forward on it until more is done for our water source.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guzman.
I guess I would be in agreement with Lisa in terms of the water issue in this project. Basically, I believe that the State Land Use Commission has already approved this as an urban development area, as well as the County Council has approved it as an urban growth area. So there is going to be development there in some fashion. I think what we need to do is wait and see what the what the developer's formal platform or project will be, and see whether any impacts that are going to affect the community are going to be mitigated. Number one, I'm going to be looking at whether it's going to affect our environment, our cultural sensitivity within our Native Hawaiians, and the quiet enjoyment of the existing community. I think those are all important in terms of looking at the final proposal from the developer. Excuse me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Victorino.
Thank you. And the State Land Use Commission has approved it, and the council has put it in the growth boundaries, but nothing else has occurred. And it still has to come back for subdivision and other approvals to the council. The green belt, for which Waikapu has discussed with me and others, is still in existence, and we've made sure green belts exist all around that community, while it's near Waiulani or across the highway. We make sure green belts are going to be a part of everything we do. In fact, if you look at our general plan, we put green belts along all the highways, along Mokulele, Haleakala, Hana Highway. It doesn't make a difference. Wherever we can, we will ensure the pristine nature of our island is protected. As far as the overall project, it has not been approved. It is still many more segments and many more areas for which entitlements have to be brought forward. And water, show me the water, still hasn't been done. So baby, it don't move until they show us the water. Thank you.
Mr. Fukuyama.
That's okay.
That was a mouthful.
You got it.
Yes, the land has been rezoned, but now it goes into the planning stage. And I think before anything is going to overturn there, it'll probably be about 5 years. So within the 5 years that we see the time we have, the public input, all these testimonials will come out. Like Mike said, the green belt has been protected. I think Mike Atherton from Waikapu Tropical Plantation has offered to help with preserving some of that green belt, and he would bankroll the whole thing. So Mike, the guy from Tropical Plantation, is a good person for the community, and he's trying to protect whatever he can protect. So it's all into one project right now. Thank you.
And thank you. Now we're going to go into our closing comments, and we'll begin with Mr. McLaughlin. I guess you're going to get your wish, Mr. Blackburn. He who is first shall go last. Mr. McLaughlin.
Well, thanks for hosting this. It was great to be here with some of the other candidates. To me, my plan is real simple. It's just simply cut the spending and bring more money in. All these issues that we talked about today all come down to money. And the fact of the matter is this: is to make more money, you have to bring more businesses in, and you need to make laws that are conducive to these small businesses succeeding and getting a fair chance, to succeed. And the reality is the way the laws are set up now, because they limit the number of permits, it's set up for the big money to come in and buy out the competition. And that's something we need to eliminate. We need to allow whoever wants to start a business to come in. The bottom line is, if you want something different, you got to vote for something different. And I'm not your typical, I don't come from a political background, so just throwing that out there.
Ms. Capero.
Once again, I would like to thank you all for being here. It's impressive to see the college moving forward in the filmmaking business. I'm proud of them. I'm also proud of our island, Maui, which includes 3 islands, not just one. But I would like for you to vote for me in the coming election. And I'm not saying that from a gender position because I'm the only female up here. It's just something we need to do. We need to get out incumbents. And let's put some fresh air in this office. And let's add more communication, more creativity, more rebuilding of our communities and the communication that we have between communities. We're all different. People in Pukalani are different from people in Lahaina. But let's get on board and let's create a better future. And I ask you to believe in better and vote for Lisa Capero. Aloha.
Thank you very much. Mr. Guzman.
Fresh voice. I truly care about this community, and that's why I'm running for county council. I believe that I'm dedicated. I'm humble enough to be approached. I'll always have an open door policy. I'm a family man. I know what's going on in our community. I served as a deputy prosecutor for the county of Maui for 5 years. I served under both congressional and state legislations as a legislative aide. So I come with you with experience. And in terms of working with diverse people, I have done that in the past, and I'm a team player. So when we look at the existing council, we need somebody that's going to offer a different perspective as well as being able to work with the existing council. I humbly ask for your vote, your vote, so that I can represent your voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Victorino.
And thank you. And again, I want to thank you, the 3 young ladies across there. Your questions were excellent. And I want to thank the community at large in Maui, University of Hawaii, Maui campus for what you've done today. The Maui College has really proven to be a real asset to this community. For myself, I've had 5.5 years, and I've done as much and as many things as possible working together with my colleagues. And that's, as Don has mentioned, teamwork is very important. It takes a 5-4 vote to get things done in any area. And we have been able to accomplish many, many good things. But in the worst of times, this county still has the best bond rating in the entire state. In the worst of times, we're not selling assets. We are now trying to make things more efficient, and we've cut our costs by millions and millions of dollars. We continue to work hard, and we're very proud of what we've done. If you want leadership with vision and experience, then Mike Victorino is your answer. Mahalo.
Mr. Fukuyama.
I believe that a small business mind and government can work together. We need to bring in business with government because we need to make people responsible for what they do. Being in business, you hold people responsible for what their actions are. And it should be no different in government. So by bringing in a small business experience, it helps to make people more accountable for what actions they take. You at the college is gifted. I hope all of you are registered to vote. That's all, so you can be a voice in the community also. So with that, I ask you on August 11th, whoever you're going to vote for, but vote.
Thank you very much, sir. And finally, Mr. Blackburn.
It's just fun to be back here. I was a fire science lecturer here, and I see some of my old friends in the booth, so it's so cool. Served 32 years in the community, responded to my own father-in-law, died as we were working on him. I believe I have what it takes to solve problems. I have the education. I have the business background. I've got the corporate background. But more importantly, it's collaboration. Without working in every area that I have, I wouldn't learn how to deal with people and how to think under pressure. And I think that's the most important thing right now. There are too many people that are losing everything. And so instead of saving lives, I'd like to now save families, because I think that's where it is, and I know that's what's happening because of our ground level business of dealing with homeowners on a daily basis. I really would like your vote. I appreciate the time, and I appreciate the panel's time, and hey, you look pretty good looking on camera. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have to get an appointment with you with the optometrist, but that's okay. This concludes this candidates forum for council members. We appreciate the fact that all of you were so candid and by and large stayed within the restraints of the limited time that we had for your responses. And certainly I'd like to extend on behalf of all of us the fine work that these young ladies have done from UHMC. They've done an excellent job of researching, and I think they've asked some very, very, very good questions. Last point I wanted to make as well is this, that the people that are behind the cameras, who we alluded to earlier, have done a marvelous job. And these kind of presentations don't work. There has to be somebody behind the camera, somebody in the director's booth, and I really want to extend our thanks to them and carrying the show, if you will. And finally, I just wanted to make a mention too that those of you who are viewing this program, it's our hope that this has helped you in terms of making a decision for the upcoming primary elections. Thank you very much for your participation, and all of you who are viewing at home. Have a pleasant day.